Hi everyone, we're going to simplify these two rational expressions here. One is with a plus and one is with a division sign. So we'll go ahead and get started. The first thing we want to do is go ahead and factor wherever possible. I can factor this, so that's going to be 3 over, and we have the x, so that's going to be x, x. And sometimes with this, I look at this one to help me factor. I have a feeling this is going to be 10 and 5. So I'm going to write 10 and 5 because we want a 50 when we're adding them together or when we're multiplying. And then when we're combining them, we want a negative 5. We want a negative 50. So since we have a negative 5, I'm going to use negative 10, positive 5. So what we have is negative 10 times 5 is negative 50, and negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. So that works. Our 5 needs to be positive, and our 10 needs to be negative. And I'm kind of using this as a hint. A lot of times you can just pull one of these factors because they always tend to make them the same. So we have x minus 10. Now to simplify this, since I'm adding, I need my least common denominator. So my LCD, least common denominator, is just going to be both of these because this is already included here. So my LCD is going to be x minus 10 times x plus 5. Therefore, everything's going to go over that. So x minus 10 times x plus 5. Now what I do is I look at my old denominator here, and I ask myself what times this denominator gives me my new one. And it's just 1. And then you say 1 times 3, and that's 3. So that one stays the same. However, on this one, here's my old denominator, here's my new one. So what times x minus 10 gives me this whole thing? Or you could say what's missing, and it's x plus 5. So basically, to have the same denominators, I'm going to do x plus 2, and then what's missing is the x plus 5. Another way to think about this is to just go ahead and write down x plus 5 here. If I write it down there, I also have to write it here. Now, all we have to do is simplify this, so we get 3 plus, FOIL this out, you'll get x squared plus 7x plus 10. And then we're going to have to add this 3 to the 10. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this one back to this. So that's going to be x squared minus 5x minus 50. And finally, I'm going to just add this 3 to the 10. So my final answer would be x squared plus 7x plus 13 divided by x squared minus 5x minus 50. And that's your final answer. All right, and the second one is this one. It's got a lot of factoring involved with this. So let's just go ahead and factor it. And remember, in grade school, when you had a division, what we're going to do is we're going to keep, change, and flip. So we're going to do that here. The first part we're just going to keep, so let's factor that. We're going to have a 3x and an x. And then we have, we need an 18, so that's probably going to be, let's try 9 and 2. If we put a 9 here, that gives us a 27. And we want a negative 27 and then plus 2. So that's negative 27, and that would be plus 2, which gives us that. The denominator, I'm just going to factor out a 9, and that gives me 3x plus 2. And notice that these two match here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this through times, and this is going to flip. So I'm going to put this in the numerator, and I'm going to go ahead and factor that. So it's going to be a 5x and an x. They're both going to be negative, and we have an 18. So I'm going to try a 3 and a 6, and then double check. So that's going to give me a negative 30 minus 3, and that does give me a negative 33. Now, this now goes in the denominator, so that's 5x minus 3. Now, since it's times, we can just put it all together now. That's what makes it easy. So we're going to cancel these two out, cancel these two out, and what we're going to do is go ahead and multiply multiply these two together. So it's going to be x minus 9 times x minus 6 divided by 9. And you go ahead and FOIL this out. So that would be, or condense it, so it's x squared minus 15x plus 54, all divided by 9. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.